Today's lesson, we're going to be able to evaluate and compose functions again. So reviewing what we did in our previous. And we talked about functions could be represented in kind of a written scenario, tables, graphically, and we just want to keep practicing all the formats. So here's our first scenario. Sarah owes $32,000 on her student loans. She pays off her loan at a rate of $100 per month. The equation A of M equals 32,000 minus 100M shows how many months M it will take Sarah to pay off the amount A that she owes. So there's a couple of things we want to try doing. We want to find A of 25. Can you circle what this notation means? Does it mean M equals 25 or A equals 25? Then we want to find its solution and explain what it means to the problem. So this goes back to what we know about function notation, right? So function notation, A of M here. A is the function, right? So A of M represents the output, M represents the input. So if I see a 25 in place of M, that means M equals 25. That means I have to take 25 and substitute it into the problem. So I'm going to take 25 here. So I'm going to take 32,000 minus 100 times 25. That would leave me with 29,500. Well, what does that mean? Well, again, 25 represents M. So that's 25 months of payments. Sarah owes $29,500. So Sarah owes $29,500 after 25 months of payments. All right, same scenario, but can we evaluate it now or this? A of M equals 0. Can you circle what the notation means, find the solution, and explain what it means to the problem? So again, thinking about function notation, this is function A of M equals 0. Well, A of M, that's the output, so that means A, the amount that she owes, is 0. So here we want to circle that A equals 0. That means when we do the solving, we'll put 0 here and undo our equation now to solve for M. So 0 equals 32,000 minus 100M. So to undo that, we would have to subtract 32,000, then divide by negative 100, and that will get us to what M is equal to. And so that happens to be 320. What does that mean for our problem? Well, M is a number of months, and the amount equals 0. Well, if the amount is 0, that means Sarah paid off her loan. So it will take Sarah 320 months to pay off the loan. Let's take a look at the next scenario. Jason needs to find a babysitter for his son. The cost C in dollars for the sitter is C of H equals 20H, where H is the number of hours babysitting. Can we do the following? Find H if C of H is equal to 60. Describe the meaning of the solution from part A in the context of the problem. And can we also find C of 7 and describe its meaning for the context of the problem? Let's give you a minute to work on those 4 things. All right, for part A, to find H, right? C of H equals 60. So that's the output. We want to find the input. So 60 is going to go in place of C of H, and we're going to undo that. Well, since 20 is being multiplied by H, to undo that, we're going to divide by 20. That means H equals 3. Well, again, what does that mean for the problem, right? H represents the number of hours babysitting. So Jason's son will have a babysitter for 3 hours since he's paying $60. The next part was finding C of 7. So C of 7, that means for 7 hours, how much would you pay the sitter? Substitute that into the function, and you're going to pay $140 for 7 hours of babysitting. And that's the meaning for C of 7. Here's a third scenario for us. Let f of A be the number of gallons of paint needed to paint a room with an area of A square feet. Explain the meaning of the following statements. F of 3,500 equals 10, and F of M equals 5. Again, we want to explain the meaning of the statements. Going back to what we know about function notation, let f of A be the number of gallons of paint needed to paint a room with an area of A square feet. So f of A is the number of gallons of paint needed, and then A represents this part here, the square feet that you're painting. So f of 3,500 equals 10. 3,500, right, that's the input, so it's talking about the number of square feet that you have to paint. And what it's equal to is the number of gallons needed. So this is the area, this is the gallons of paint. So we need 10 gallons of paint to cover an area of 3,500 square feet. So again, this was the output, this was the input. So the second part was f of m equals 5. So again, what does this mean? We know the input, M, represents the area that needs to be painted, and the output is the number of gallons of paint needed, right? So we know 5 gallons of paint is needed to paint an area of M square feet. Let's look at one last scenario. Let f of p be the profit in billions that Apple makes by selling iPhones at a price of $P. Explain the meaning of f of 199 equals 5.2. So again, let's think about our function notation. 199, that's the input, and that's talking about the price in dollars. 5.2 is the output, the profit in billions of dollars. So this means an iPhone of $199 generates a profit of $5.2 billion for Apple. So today we were looking again at evaluating different functions, and more importantly, the meaning behind the evaluations that we were doing. And so today you're going to practice doing both of those items, as well as reviewing what we had done before with evaluating function rules and different compositions with some operations, adding, subtracting, and so on.